Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is all about this guy, the Realme C2. This one is a very budget-oriented phone, and hence before starting the review, let's check the pricing. Well, the base model, which has 2GB of RAM and 16GB of internal storage, is priced at 5,999 Indian rupees, and that's the main selling point of this device. Well, the one I'm using is not that version, but it's the top variant, which has 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, and it's priced at 7,999 Indian rupees. I really wanted to get the base variant for testing, but these flash sales are so weird, and I couldn't even see a buy option for that variant, and I really doubt whether it was available during the first flash sale. So that makes things really complicated, and the usual marketing thing like its price starts at 5,999 doesn't make any sense. Now, for the time being, we'll keep the pricing and availability of this device aside and check the rest of the things that really matter while buying a device. And if you have watched my previous videos, you'll be familiar with the factors that matter while buying a smartphone. So let's start with the first factor, which is design and build. Design from the front is a very familiar design for 2019. You get this 19.5:9 aspect ratio display with very slim bezels, and there is this tiny notch, which is a dewdrop notch, and it is there just to accommodate the front camera. The main body of the phone, as expected, is made of plastic, but what's different from what you have seen is this pattern on the rear of the device. There are two color options available for the phone, and this one is the diamond black color variant, and I really like this pattern on the rear portion, which has a matte finish, and because of that, it's a slippery phone. There were occasions I really wish to put a case on, and by the way, you don't get a free case with this device. The only advantage of this kind of a texture is that your fingerprints are not so evident. The power button and the volume buttons are made of plastic, and they are positioned on different sides, and for the functioning, it's not a very tactile one, but still, it works fine. The charging port for the phone is micro USB, and that's not a surprise, and as usual, you get a headphone jack, and also a single speaker, and a single microphone, and all of them are on the bottom of the device. The SIM tray used here supports 2 nano SIMs, and both of them are VoLTE supported, and there is also a dedicated SD card slot, which is a great thing considering this device doesn't have a lot of storage, especially for the base variant. So that's all for the design of the phone, and about its build, it's a sturdy device which is not very thick and heavy. There is no flex or gap in between, and the phone is also not a very big phone, and even though it's not a one-handed phone, it's very manageable. And for the price, I'm happy with the design and the build of the phone. The second thing that we're going to check is the display and audio, and it's a factor that's very important, especially since this phone falls in a segment where buyers who buy this will be probably looking for a device for media consumption. And about the Realme C2, it's a very good media consumption device. In fact, the base variant will blow out other competitions out of the game. Because for 6,000 rupees, I feel this phone is the best device for media consumption. And it's mainly because the 6.1-inch HD Plus display is a good quality panel with sufficiently good color accuracy. It's not a very sharp display, but for the price, it's a good one. The phone also gets an ambient light sensor, which works well. Using the phone outdoors is not much of an issue since the display gets fairly bright, and at dark environments, the display gets dim enough so that you won't experience any strain. By default, they have installed a screen guard, which is a good addition, and under that, the display glass is Corning Gorilla Glass 3. The touch response from the display is also good, and overall, it's a good one for consuming contents, and to back it up, the single bottom fairing speaker is a good speaker unit. It's loud enough so that you won't have issues in moderately noisy environment, and if the speaker is not covered, the sound from it is clear. The only issue is that it can easily be covered, mainly because its positioning is on the left side, but the phone has a headphone jack whose output is also good. So for the display and audio, I would say the Realme C2's base variant is one of the best options in this segment. And that takes us to the third factor, which is the hardware and performance. Nowadays when you buy a 8,000 rupees phone, you can expect a not so bad processor. But with the Realme C2, it's a different story. The processor used is the MediaTek P22, which is an octa-core processor, which is a good one if you buy the 6,000 rupees variant. But when you get the top variant, this processor doesn't stand well with its competitors. It's mainly because it's a slow processor. Day-to-day tasks like navigating through menu, opening an app, or scrolling through a feed, all of them works well without much issues, but if you try to do a little bit of intense stuff, then you can see the processor taking the hit and slowing down. PUBG works fine at low graphics, and it is playable even though you'll notice some frame drops, but if you try to play Asphalt 9, it's a really bad experience. You can see that the processor can't handle a lot of graphics intense sections, and hence the game is choppy and hangs a lot. So in case if you're planning to buy the 3GB RAM variant for gaming, then it's better to get something else. And this variant, which has the 3 GB RAM, has not so bad RAM management because 3 to 4 light apps stay open in the memory. And after testing the 3 GB RAM variant, what I feel is that the 2 GB RAM variant will suffer in terms of RAM management, but still, if you're a light user, you'll probably be fine. And that's the case with the storage too. You can expand it with a memory card to save photos and videos, but the base variant just has 16 GB of storage, and out of that, you can expect to have approximately 7 GB of usable space. And again, if you're a very light user, you'll be fine. So for the hardware and performance, if you're planning to buy the 3 GB RAM variant, its pricing feels to be on the higher side based on performance of the phone, but the 2 GB RAM variant's pricing is very competitive, and then this processor does well compared to other options. So that takes us to another important factor, which is the camera. And here to say things straight, for the price, the cameras used here does a good job no matter which variant you choose. On the rear, there is a dual camera setup with a flash where the main camera is a 13 megapixel one and the secondary one is a depth sensor which is 2 megapixels. And the shots that we capture with the main camera really surprised me. Usually phones in this price range have really bad cameras, but this one compared to others is better. Colors are nice with good detail and the camera performs better even in low lit environment. Portrait shots are also usable, and overall I'm happy with the pictures that the rear camera captures. But about the video from the rear camera, it's not that good, and at best I'll say it's average. And the max video resolution possible is 1080p at 30 fps. Now checking the front camera, it's a 5 megapixel camera and still it takes not so bad selfies. The photos doesn't have great detailing, but still they are good and even better than some phones in this price range which has 13 or even 16 megapixel cameras. And that takes us to the last factor, which is the battery. The battery used on the C2 is a 4000 mAh battery and the battery backup is really good. I could easily make it through a day and still have around 20 to 30% battery left even with heavy use. But for charging, with the included charger, the charging time was similar to its competitors. It takes approximately 2.5 hours to fully charge the phone from 7% to 100%. Then some other minor stuff is that the Android version is Android 9 Pie with custom skin, which I'm not a fan of. Then the earpiece of this device is a good one and I could hear everything clearly without any issues. And for the sensors, the phone has accelerometer, proximity sensor and also compass. But one thing that's missing is a fingerprint scanner, so you'll miss out on fingerprint unlock. But they've added face unlock with the front camera and it works well, but I won't recommend you use face unlock because it's not secure. And I guess that's everything about the Realme C2. So should you buy it? Well, it depends upon your budget. Now if you're planning to get the top variant, I would strongly suggest to check the other options available. But the base variant is a really good bargain if you're fine with low internal storage. And the reason I say that is because if you install a lot of apps, then you will have storage issues. But if you're a moderate user, then for the price tag of 6,000 Indian rupees, the Realme C2 is one solid option in the ultra budget smartphone segment and it will be a good option to get if you can grab one during flash sale. That's all for this video guys. Hope you liked it. If so, please do hit the like button and also please do subscribe. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.